Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. So guys, in this video, as you would have seen in the thumbnail and the title of this video, we will be talking about the kind of auspicious yoga which is currently there in the transit and which is specifically benefiting two rising sign which are ironically complaining the most. See, again, if you have that rising sign and you're not complaining, please don't take it personally. I'm saying that on the basis of like the way I've been doing consultation and some of the people with whom I have talked, and they showed their displeasure in the life and sudden outcome of the events. So this video is a contribution to all those kind of people to give them the encouragement or the motivation, because guys, like the way you know this thing that I'm a full-time professional astrologer, so I'm all the time either in my monitor, in my screen, observing the planets, or out there in the sky actually looking at the stars. So that means I have the proper like data and stats to talk with. So okay, now the two rising sign I'm gonna be talking about are the Aquarius and the Virgo. Now what made me say this thing? So guys, if you remember in one of my video I mentioned this thing that if you have to actually judge which area of life right now is giving you struggle, so that is very simple. In whichever house Saturn and Ketu are transiting, those are going to be the areas of their life where you might be struggling or you might be battling with. So after that, lot many of the Aquarians who are right now hosting Saturn, they started commenting, and the Virgo natives who are hosting like Ketu right over there in the first house, they also started emailing. So then I thought, okay, let me present my defense for that. I'm an eternally optimistic person, and now in the rest of the video I will show you what you are right now finding or seeing as a struggle is the golden time which the cosmos has granted to you. So first we will talk about, let's take up the case of the Virgo Lagna. So no, let's take up the case of the Aquarians first. So guys, for the Aquarians, see, before we will start talking about that, in your case, I will be giving attention to that Saturn is right now transiting in your first house and Ketu is transiting in your 8th house. So guys, if you are a Westerner, I do not know how many times you would have heard this thing, but in India, and especially like even in my household, it was a very common phenomena where people say this thing that if someone is criticizing you, someone is like you know, spreading false, malicious kind of rumors about you, in a nutshell criticizing you, so lot many spiritually aligned people in India will say this thing, let him do that, he's just cutting off my bad karmas, he's just taking away or consuming all of my bad karmas, that person in a way is doing a favor to me. So this is a very common thing. So and you will hear the same thing in the satsang preaching of many like saints in India as well, in their like kathas and all, in their big preaching congregation and event as well, that whenever someone is like criticizing you, planting anything harmful for you, in a way that person is eating up your karma. So okay, let me give you like share a very small story which I heard in one of the these kind of satsang katha only. So what happened, there was a time when there was a king, and the kings used to be very fond of going for hunting and all. So he goes there for a hunting on his horse, and after like in a very hot, scorching, sunny day, an Indian summer I'm talking about, so he did not find any animal. He was not able to hunt anything, and he was very disappointed, sweaty and all tired and very frustrated as well. So somehow even his horse was also tired. So in a way, horse just, you know, got up in his 2 legs and in the hind legs and you know, got the king unloaded from his back, and the king fell. He was already very frustrated to a point he thought that okay, I'm gonna cut away the head of this horse, but then he thought that who's gonna take me back to the palace. And when that incident happened, there was a saint who was there in his small hut, and he was watching the whole thing, and he started laughing out loud. You know that the saints are always in that ecstasy, divine ecstasy, contented, always fulfilled, very blessed kind of, you know, emotion and environment. So that saint started laughing, looking at the king. So king got more furious. He started burning with anger. So what did he do? He saw there was a heap of it was a cow dung or it was a horse poop, like shit. He take it in his hand and he threw at the saint. Saint still kept on laughing and all. Then king said, he might be. Then he even abused him. You are a mad person. You do not know how to respect people. This and that. He abused him. Then he sat on his horse and he goes back to his palace. After that, in a while, suddenly his life starts to fill with and surround with all sort of problems, like his ministers started rebelling him. There is no rain which is happening. Because of that, the crops are not growing, and the whole kingdom turned into a proper anarchy, proper chaos. Then obviously, if you're in a problem, the first thing which comes to your mind is, let me consult Nipun. Let me consult the royal astrologer of the court. So he consulted him. So the astrologer, when he looked at the chart of the king, he says, sir, the planetary alignment does not seem to be giving any problem or posing any problem. It looks like that you do not have any grace or blessing. But this just because that kind of astrologer was awakened. He was like very intuitive as well. Somehow he asked the king that, okay, you need to find the blessing in order to find a cure. Otherwise the kingdom is gonna rebel and they're gonna, somehow usurp the kingdom or gonna throw you out. So the astrologer asked the king, okay, you go in that direction. In that direction you will find a solution to your problem. The king started going there in that direction. He reached the point where he humiliated that saint and it threw that shit on that the face of that saint. Somehow he feel that, okay, this place looks like to be familiar. Then he asked the saint and just near the hut of that saint, he saw a big pile of poop, like almost like 7 and 8 feet. Then he recognized the saint, and then he realized his mistake, what has happened, and he was able to connect all the dots. Then he asked for the forgiveness, and then he asked like, okay, how come there is a big like pile of all this shit? He says, I'm a saint. You know that whatever you will give to me, I will give you many fold in return. So then king realized that, okay, this is what the problem is. So then he asked the solution. So then the saint says, okay, you humiliated me. That is the karma which you got. Now, if you want to get rid of that, just go to your kingdom and get as much as humiliated as possible, and then you can get rid of that. The king says, okay, does not seems to be, I don't have any other option. So he goes back, he came up with a solution. He discussed that with his astrologer and they both came up with this solution that king wore some shabby clothes, takes a bottle of wine of that times, wine in his hand, and take a servant, a maid from the palace, and with the maid, he sit in the middle of the crossroad in the kingdom and start drinking and just kind of making out, pretending to be doing that. And then the whole masses got mad fury. They started humiliating him, abusing him, that oh my god, our king has lost his conscience, the whole kingdom is gonna go bad. And they all started throwing tomatoes, humiliating him, this and that. And by the end of the day, he reach back to his palace, discuss it with the minister, and again goes back to the saint. When he reaches there, the pile of that poop was almost gone. There was little bit left. So then the saint said that, okay, you have already done enough repentance. You are now feel like to be rid of all the karma which you have accumulated. Then king asked that, but why still there is little bit left? He says, that is what you own. That's something, it's like your destiny, your product. You cannot get rid of that completely. So king got his lesson. He goes back to the kingdom. Okay, so why I said this whole story? It's just like that, guys. Always look at it in this way. For the Aquarians, you are actually in a very blessed time. Try to connect the dots. 8th house is very important because 8th house is the labh, the gain of your karmas. From the 10th house, you have to go 11 places in order to reach the 8th house. And what is the innate nature of Ketu? Ketu is like a scissor. Ketu cuts away things. So for all those of the Aquarians who are like complaining, whether you are an Aquarius moon or you are an Aquarius rising sign, if you have been complaining about that life has not been kind to you, and lately it's like, you know, the pressure has been increasing and challenges and, you know, blames and all of that, you are an epicenter of all of that. So look at it in this way. In a way, it's a very alchemist combination, which I do not know. I did not make a calculation that when the next time is gonna happen. That's Saturn right over there in your ascendant. Saturn in any case takes like, guys, 28 or 30 years. And Ketu has to be in that alignment. It's gonna be a major calculation. So I mean to say, whatever is happening in your life right now, whatever problems or hardship you are currently dealing with, see it as a blessing, because in a way Ketu is cutting away all the karmas. Now again, guys, you have to be spiritually aligned in order to understand the impact and significance of that. Why sudden events happen in our life. So whomsoever is like right now out of nowhere, when you say this thing that, you know, it's like that guy is very lucky, wherever he goes he suddenly make money just comes automatically like a magnet to him. This could be a case that in the past lifetime that person did so many charities that this is what is coming back to him. And let's say for example, those who get robbed, who get scammed, money just goes out of them. People are looking for a chance to eat away their asset, their possession. This could be a case they did the same thing in the past lifetime, and these are the same people in a guise of the different body are doing the same thing to them. So karma is something which never gets exhausted. It's like the transfer of energy, and that's what I wanted to say. Definitely guys, look at it in this way, that whatever is happening in your life right now, when Rahu is gonna come over here, that's gonna be altogether different, right? And what Saturn is doing right now to you is altogether different elevating experience. I always say this thing. People feel that, okay, Venus blessing is pleasure, luxury. Jupiter blessing is wisdom, gyan. Even the hardship which comes from the Saturn, see it, always see it as a blessing. It's gonna be a long video. I'm gonna talk about that, the punishment of the Saturn and how it can be seen as a blessing. So whatever is happening in your life right now, if God forbid, if you're right now going through some sort of struggling, hardship, pressure, anything, any disappointment, look at it in this way, that Saturn and Ketu combination is like a blessing. Your karmas, the bad karmas, they all are getting cut off so that the new seeds can be sown. So okay, this is the only much information I could have given for the Aquarians. Let me have a sip of the coffee. Because guys, I don't have the time to edit the video, so it's gonna be raw. It's gonna be uploaded same like this only. So okay, now talking about from the Virgo Lagna natives point of view. So guys, for the Virgo, look at it in this way. Ketu is transiting right over there in your first house and blending it with where Jupiter is transiting in your 9th house. Guys, try to look at the deeper significance or meaning of it. We all know this thing that Ketu is one such planet. Ketu's power is something, you put Ketu on one side and the combined joint power of all the planets on one side. Even after that, Ketu is gonna be winning and calling the shots and all. This is what the intensity and power of Ketu is. And if that planet is transiting over your first house, and see guys, like the way I was talking about, Jupiter and Ketu, they are forming a combination where Jupiter is giving its aspect to the Ketu. So it is going to be happening for all the signs, but the kind of alignment which is happening for you, Jupiter being placed in the 9th house, and very soon, like in the month of Feb, it is gonna be turning direct as well, and Ketu there in your first house. So how can we look at this? So look at it in this way, that your life could be right now in a auto mode. A lot many things are going to be happening in your life, and all of that is happening because of the divine grace. If you feel that suddenly I feel very detached, I feel very lost, or there have been major transformation which is happening in my life, or I've been a victim of any natural causes kind of issues, accidents or problems, or you feel that you have recently got into a very bad breakup with your partner, a partner from past many years. So all of that which Ketu is right now cutting from your life, look at it as a divine blessing, because Jupiter from the 9th house is kind of blessing you. And like the way guys, let me tell you one more story. Why people say this thing that Rahu is responsible for major things and big achievement. See, look at it in this way. Astrology simply works on the principle of promise and the timing. They're like two people, okay? I'm person A and look at this as a person B, okay? So a yoga came for both of us for buying a house or building a house. Now astrology will do its promise. The circumstances will start getting aligned up. Those kind of thoughts start being implanted in your mind. You will start putting your efforts in that direction. Now the only difference will come in a way of which planet rules our personality. The timing is a different thing. Planets which rules us is a different thing. So for example, if I'm more ruled by moon, so I will be in that vacillating thoughts. Oh, shall I do this or not? Oh, my budget is just of $300,000. Let me buy a small studio apartment, or let me buy this small thing. If you are a Saturn ruled person, you will be definitely very penny pinching, very realistic. And imagine if the other person is going to be Rahu ruled. Oh, that person, oh, I'm gonna make a villa. I don't care. I will just get money from bank. I will get money arranged from my relatives. I will transfer my business into that villa only. I can operate it from there, and I will hire some tenants and they will contribute to the mortgage, this and that. So that's how it happens. And you will see in that period, the person who was nagging, who was in that mode of self-negating, he will hardly be able to, after dragging himself, will be able to just make a small or buy a small kind of studio apartment, and the other person would have already built a villa. So all what I'm saying is that the astrology works in this way, and especially when Ketu is operating over your sign, over your ascendant, look at it in this way, that the divine is actually has taken control of you. When people talk about the role of, like, why Lord Krishna in Mahabharata only chose Arjun, why didn't Lord Krishna chose like Duryodhan, or even in the Pandava side some other other prince? Because Arjun had that surrender and focus and acceptance. And when Ketu is operating over you, put your life in a auto mode. Like the way when I'm talking about from the Aquarian's point of view, I said this thing that every hardship has got some divine lesson for you, because it is cutting off your karmas. Same is the way for the Virgo natives. This is a time when, if you feel that life is losing control, I feel like a very headless kind of person who do not know what to do, what not to do, trust me, you are very blessed. 90% of the cases of the successful people, if you will read their biography, there is a guy in Instagram, he keeps on going to different places, interviewing the millionaires and asking about what lesson you can give, what advice you can give, how did it happen. A lot of them just say this thing that we were just blessed, it just happened. Things were happening on their own, and we were just putting efforts and going with the flow. So that's what I have to say to you, because Ketu's transit from the first house, over and above that, Jupiter in the 9th house is a very, very alchemist combination. Yes, what you can do additionally is that if during this time, guys, it becomes very important, like try to be a part of any spiritual kind of environment that will bless you the most. So like for example, like I keep on seeing that in different kind of Instagram groups, like there is like different kirtan group, different yoga group, different meditation group, or like if you have any guru and which conducts the discourse and the teaching and the preaching, attend that, because right now this is the one such thing which you need the most. And if life is enforcing any change in any specific area, surrender to it. Please do not fight with it, because you do not know what kind of golden combination you are currently going. Jupiter is gonna come back to this placement. It is in Atichari motion, fast motion, still like after like 8 or 9 years. So that means whatever you can encash, but then Ketu is gonna be different house, different axis, different zodiac sign. So right now you are in a very divine kind of alignment. Let the universe do whatever it wants to do through you. Just be the Arjun and surrender, and you will see the miracle. So yes guys, that's the video. Let me finish my coffee, and thanks a lot for watching this video. This video was not planned. I was just coming back after having my coffee, and I was like fed up with the complaints from the like people have been saying that who are at the epicenter of. Again guys, I empathize if you're actually at the receiving end of the hardship, but I am a very optimistic person. I am spiritual as well. There is always a reason. There is always a reason. Nothing happens in this universe out of no reason. It always works with a proper plan, proper structure, and this is the only reason whatever you are going through, and I try to give you the reason with proper interesting stories. So yes guys, for further more updates and notification on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on my Instagram account. Dhanyawad.